but of other cases, we might.
Okay, because I'll start that out. I'll just grab it.
Okay.
I'll be in the conference room in there.
Okay. You need another additional one, or you got your notes? No. I'm called Denise.
Are we ready to go on the record? Are we still?
I think Jade's.
Okay, let me know. Here we go, that's what I was looking for. Is there just an agenda that I can have too? I didn't print it out. Perfect, thank you.
All right, everybody ready? We are ready once you are, Magistrate.
All right, let's go to work. We know when we're, you ready?
Yes.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm calling to order the City of Green Acres Code Enforcement hearing for June 17th, 2025. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. My name is Keith Davis with the law firm of Davis & Associates. Been appointed by the city to preside over today's hearings. Before we begin, please silence your cell phones so we make sure they don't interrupt our proceedings, and that will be greatly appreciated. Agenda indicates roll call. Is there a roll call that you need to take? So the agenda indicates call to order and roll call. Is there a roll call that you're?
Oh, just everybody.
We're good. All the Musketeers are present. I have signed the previous minutes, so let's get into it. We've got a few cases today, 9 or so. So for folks who are present, and I'll swear everybody in a minute, but when your case is called, city, remind me where you want the respondents to stand when they come up to testify.
If they need to speak,
Your
they can
podium
go to
over
the
here to my
podium,
left.
yes.
All right, so when your case is called, please come up to the podium over to my left. The way I'm going to handle each case is first I will hear from the city. I expect city may have witness or witnesses who will testify, tell me about the alleged violations, give me some background. There may be other evidence that the city presents, which you'll have an opportunity to review. Once the city has concluded its presentation, including making any recommendations to me regarding how it believes the case should be handled, it will then be your opportunity. The floor will be yours to ask any questions of the city's witnesses. If you have no questions, that's fine. You can simply tell me about the case from your point of view. In the event that you brought additional documents or photographs or other evidence that you would like me to consider, that will be the time to produce that. Once I've seen everything and heard everything about the case from both sides, in all likelihood today I will enter an order that resolves the matter. in one way or another. So that's generally how we'll proceed. Are we just going to go top down on the agenda, or are you going to?
We have a sign-in sheet.
Okay, so we will take the cases in the order that you signed in on the sign-in sheet first, and then with that, on the record, let's go ahead and proceed.
Special Magistrate hearing for June 17, 2025. The first item on the agenda is case 3-25-11181, and this case will be presented by Xavier Morales.
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Xavier Morales. I'm the Code Compliance Coordinator for the City of Green Acres. This property is located at 6030 Lakeworth Road, and the property owner is listed as Pentecostal Tabernacle International Incorporated. This property was first cited on March 7th, 2025, and this case is about a fence that was installed around the property without a City of Green Acres permit. A portion of the fence was installed in a location prohibited by the Planning and Zoning Division. I have submitted a package for evidence, which includes the Papa's printout as proof of ownership, a copy of the notice of violation / hearing notice dated May 5th, 2025, in which they were given until May 19th, 2025 to comply, proof of service for that notice of violation. It was posted at the property and City Hall for at least 10 days. The affidavit of posting is included. It was also sent by certified mail, and the returned signed certified mail return receipt is also included. Also included are photos of the property.
Okay, so the white fence went in without a permit, and is it in a setback, or is that?
Yes, Your Honor, the portion of the fence in front of the actual property of the building, it's not allowed to be there by planning and zoning, and it was erected there without a City of Green Acres permit. So we're asking, it cannot be permitted, so we're asking for it to be taken down.
So it's not even that it can be moved, it's not allowed to be there at all?
It's not allowed to be there at all.
Understood. Okay.
And we do have a representative property present.
What's the city's recommendation for compliance on this?
The city's seeking $100 a day after 30 days.
30 days. 30 days is July 18th.
I have to clarify.
You said $100? Oh, that's right, I didn't. I said I was going to, and then I didn't. Okay. Shame on me. I do need to swear everybody in, like I said I was going to, and then I got sidetracked. So if you're going to be speaking to me about any of the items on our agenda, I do need your testimony to be under oath. If you'll please stand, raise your right hands. Each of you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that your testimony at this afternoon's hearings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay, and then Officer Morales, everything you said is captured by that oath as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. All right, so July 18th, and you said $100 per day after that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, Magistrate, real quick, where on the only code that he's being cited for today is for sections 105.1. 110 is getting pulled. We're just going based off.
Because it can't be inspected. It has to be.
Exactly.
Understood. So that's, okay. Remind me, is the city collect administrative costs?
It's all encompassed when we don't have like
So the
initial.
$100 per day from the city's perspective
It
captures the whole
goes,
ball of wax.
captures.
Gotcha.
We get a little.
Okay. Who do we have here on behalf of the respondent, Pentecostal Tabernacle International? Yes, sir, come on up. Yes, sirs.
Did you sign in when you came here?
No, just kidding. You signed in?
I think somebody signed in. You wanna sign in too? And then you
For-
can-
No,
Oh, for this one?
this is.
Okay, so yeah, you can sign in right there. And then you can go to the podium.
Good afternoon, sir. If you'll put your name and address into the record, and then the floor will be yours.
Good afternoon. My name is Howard Aarons, pastor of Pentecostal Tabernacle at 6030 Lakewood Road, Green Acres.
Thank you, Mr. Aarons. If you have any questions for the city, you may ask them. If not, you can simply proceed. Tell me about.
Yes, Mr. Morales, early on you said in your opening statements that the fence was not permitted. Are you saying no portion was permitted?
The portion that's in front.
Oh, the portion that's in front. All right, so we were told that we needed to apply for a variance. We went ahead, we filled out the application forms, given all the reasons why we think the fence should be there. At the end of that, we were told that we needed approval from PBSO. So we applied to BSO for all the police records. They could only go back to 2018 because we have had cases where we have had theft of our church buses plates. You know, we have had illegal parking. We have had a lot of stuff that were happening there, but we could not have gone back further than 2018. Right? Those reports are submitted to the city, and finally we were told that the variance is not approved. The contractor is here with me today, so I don't know if he wants to ask the city some questions. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Dixon. How are you doing?
But, sorry, before you proceed, I just want to kind of started out by indicating you had a question for the officer. I'm not sure if that just morphed into a statement, but is there a question to be answered about the variance application?
Is that directed to Mr. Morales?
You had originally started out by asking.
Yes, yes. You asked me about the he said only the front end was not approved.
Okay, that answered your question.
Right. So yes,
Okay, thank you very much. Go ahead, sir. You can step up.
Ricardo Dixon. So my question to Mr. Malak.
And if I can get you a little closer to the microphone so I can hear you better.
Yeah, no problem, sir. So my question to Mr. Morales is that if they knew that the fence was not going to be approved, why suggest that we should have done a variance?
Special Magistrate, we do have the Assistant Director here, and he is a part of the Planning and Zoning Division.
Okay.
He may need to be sweared in, and he can give his statement.
Sounds like the answer to that question may come from a different person. Let me swear in. Let me swear you in, sir. Do you swear or affirm under penalties of perjury your testimony in today's hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. Go ahead and put your name and your position with the city into the record, and then you can maybe address the question that's been posed.
So Gianni Gallier, Assistant DNS Director for the record. So this one, they did apply for the variance application. This initially started in the summer of 2023 when they applied for the initial building permit for the fence. And they applied for it to pretty much perimeter the entire property. And through that, at the time, we let them know that only the portion forward of the front wall would be able to be approved based on our code, and the only way forward would be if a variance was approved. They were advised of the findings that are required for a variance prior to applying. They did apply November 2023 for the variance. Throughout that, we took it through the review process. We advised them that there was no evidence that was provided to pretty much support staff's recommendation of approval for a variance. So we gave them the option at that time to either, withdraw the variance or proceed with the recommendation of denial. So their decision was to withdraw the variance, and with that also they were advised in that time, they did install the fence without the variance approval and without the proper building permit approval also. And this was when Mr. Morales gave them that citation. And then through that, through the closeout of the variance process too, is reaffirmed that they do need the permit to remove the fence, because with the variance application even withdrawn from consideration, there's no way that it could be permitted.
Okay. You can, so hold on, so let, this is an informal administrative proceeding, but we're not gonna go back and forth. I need one of you to, sir, I think your question was just answered. Do you have another question, or is there any other testimony that you'd like to? No, sir. You're all done? All right. Yes, sir, you can take the mic again.
Okay, so a question for Mr. Gallier.
Yes, sir.
I think the last time I spoke with you, you said we can either withdraw the application for the variance or go forward. But you said in either way, you're going to recommend that it be denied, not approved.
Correct.
Right, so there would be no reason for us to go forward with it.
And correct, it was, and then, I did inform them that it was their business decision of which way to go forward, but, considering the variance would need advertisement in the, electronic, well, this was when we had paper ads, and also the mailing, that they would actually be able to recoup some of that cost. So that went into their decision also. And then pretty much to that point, I think Mr. Morales gave my correspondence with them as part of your file with the withdrawal of that variance.
Just to interject briefly, it looks like it's your correspondence dated May 13th, 2025.
Correct.
And the email dated May 12th on this topic to the pastors. I have that in the file. I've looked at both of those. So
Correct.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay, so we withdrew the application for the variance because I consulted with Mr. Gallier, and he said, recommendation would be made to deny it. So my assumption is that there is no validity in going forward with the application, because in any way it would be denied.
And I think, the issue here is that the fence is still there forward of the front yard. It's prohibited, it can't be there, and a permit's required for the removal of it. You have applied for the permit, and we did provide comments through the planning division that you do just need to outline on the survey where that area to be removed is. And also, I think there was a comment from building regarding providing the fence detail showing the footers that will also be removed. So once those are provided, staff is expecting the application, and will provide a quick turnaround.
Can I say something, sir? Can I say something?
Pastor, are you finished? Again, I don't want to.
No, he's a contractor, so we contracted him to.
Understood, but the way this is unfolding is not acceptable to me.
You're saying that.
You, then
okay.
him. I want to try and keep this a little bit organized.
Okay, so
that's all.
Another question from
I'll give each of you all the opportunity you want, but I'm not going to go.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
You're welcome. So you're saying the application for the permit to remove the fence has been done?
So it was provided to us on June 10th, and then we provided comments the same day of what needs to be provided. And there were, the simple comments of outlining on the survey where the fence to be removed is, and the building comment regarding the fence detail based on Florida Building Code.
Sorry, and that was sent to the contractor?
Correct.
Okay, because, I'm not privy to the updated point that it is. So it has been applied for?
It has been applied for, but not approved. We're waiting for their response to those two comments.
Okay, thank you.
And did you want your contractor to put anything else into the record at this time?
Yeah, I wanted to ask a question. When we met on Zoom with the fire marshal and the sheriff department, you advised us that at that particular time, we only needed a Knox box. So to our knowledge, we thought that the fence was already approved on the variance because we already submitted the permit and that was approved. So the only additional that was needed was just the front. So we actually submitted the variance and we were actually 98% approved with the variance. So you sent us the Zoom, met with the fire marshal, and they told us that all we needed was just a knockbox.
Well, let
So-
me just stop you right here. The only thing that's before me is the issue of this fence having been installed without a permit in a place where a fence can't be installed. The fire marshal has nothing to do with this. So let's try and keep our eye on the issue that's at hand. Whatever your Knox box issue is not part of this matter that's before me at all. Has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let me go find out, I think, my final question. So, Mr. Gallier, are you saying nobody in this city, no entity, has had a variance approved for fencing, with enclosing the whole of their property?
Well, that would have to go through the city record on the variances, but they have to meet the unique situations for each specific property. Each application is held on its own. You can't compare it to another application that's specific in the variance findings itself. And then going back to that, there's the technical requirements that we outlined in the Development Review Committee of the other aspects of the code, which is fire access, which is the comment that he's referring to, but it's also just the specific meeting of the variance criteria that goes in front of the Planning and Zoning Board, who's the ultimate approving body.
So let me just ask there is no variance application pending before the city at this time.
No, it was administratively withdrawn, and they were refunded the fees
I
otherwise.
see that from your May 13th correspondence.
Yep.
So that is the current state of affairs.
Correct, and then we're waiting on the building permit to be addressed on the comments so we can issue it.
That would be to remove the fence.
The fence in the prohibited portion of the property.
Let me ask this question. I was in a village this morning. Now I'm in a city. The city has suggested July 18th as the compliance deadline. Assuming everybody's acting in good faith and moving forward, is that a reasonable amount of time to expect that permit to be issued and have the work done?
I do believe that's a reasonable amount of time.
Okay, that's, do you have any follow-up questions based on my question?
So, Mr. Gallier, by then, the permit should have been clear for the removal?
Mm-hmm.
It's in July, are we saying July 18th?
July 18th. But given the comments that we provided, those are very simple comments. You provided us a copy of the survey. It just wasn't outlined where the area of the removal is. It would be that same survey outlining the area of the removal, and then in addition, the fence detail that I believe they have at the window at the permit center if you do need a fence detail. So June 10th was the initial submittal, and it didn't have the fence detail, at least based on the building comment. Related to zoning, we just requested the survey outline the area of the work.
And that was sent to my office?
Correct. The following day.
Okay, from the church's perspective, we're sorry for everything went down. We didn't know, because we just gave it to the contractor. We needed the place enclosed. Not knowledgeable of the ordinances of the city, so we're sorry for that, and we're going to remove that portion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. And is there anything else, Pastor?
We heard $100 per day effective if it's not taken down by then. 30 days from?
No daily fines will start unless the compliance date is not met.
Is not met.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else from the city?
No.
Nothing further.
Okay. Then in this case, I do find proper notice. Respondents are present at today's hearing, or the respondent is present at today's hearing. Based on the testimony and the evidence I've received, I will find that the property does in fact remain in violation of Florida Building Code 105.1. I will accept the city's recommendation regarding compliance date and daily fines, and I will sign that order. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Who's next?
Next item on the agenda is case 3-25-11234, and this case will be presented by Xavier Morales.
Good afternoon, Xavier Morales, Code Compliance Coordinator for the City of Green Acres. This property is located at 360 Fleming Avenue, and the property owners are listed as Karina and Luis A. Rico. This property was first cited on March 25th, 2025, and this case is about two gazebo roof structures that were built without a City of Green Acres permit. Both structures need a permit, and as of today, no permit has been applied for.
They have or have not?
They have not.
No permits applied for?
No permits applied for. I have submitted a package for evidence, and it includes the papas as proof of ownership, a copy of the notice of violation / hearing notice, which was dated May 17th, 2025, in which they were given until May 31st, 2025 to comply. Included is the proof of service for that notice. It was posted at the property in City Hall for at least 10 days. The affidavit of posting is included, and also included is a signed certified mail return receipt. And photos of the property are also included. The property owner is present here today.
Okay.
And of the two structures, according to planning and zoning, one of the structures may or may not be able to, they may not be able to acquire a permit for it because of its location, so it may have to be removed.
That there looks like one's attached and one is separate.
The separate one is close to the property, the boundary, and it may have to be removed.
So the violation that's alleged is, again, doing work without a permit. Are either of these, I don't think the attached one can be, but are either of these Miccosukee or Seminole Chickee Hut structures?
Are they what? I'm sorry, yeah?
Chickee huts that wouldn't require a building permit. They would still have to comply with zoning, but if it's a
tiki hut, then
certified Chickee hut
Oh.
not tied,
built
not
by
lit.
Miccosukee or Seminole,
They're not, Your Honor.
they're not?
They're not.
Okay, very good. Then what is the city's recommendation?
The city is seeking $50 a day after 60 days.
50 after 60.
Yes.
So that's August 17th. All right, who do we have here on behalf of Karina and Luis Rico? Are you Mr. Rico? Yes, sir. Go ahead and put your full name and address into the record, and then the floor will be yours, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Luis Rico. My address is 3060 Fleming Avenue, Green Acres, Florida, 33463.
Yes, sir. Go on. The floor is yours. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, you can tell me about what's going on with the...
All right, so I did build the structures with help of friends, and I have no issues trying to pull a permit for them. Now, the one that it's attached to my house, it's closer to my fence, but at the same time, when I built my fence, I actually came into my property. Would that affect anything? Even though I came in 3 feet from my property line on the back of the yard of the house?
So let me kind of short circuit this discussion. What is before me is the fact that both were built without building permits. So
That's
that whether or not they comply with the city's zoning regulations will be determined when the building permit applications are reviewed. I don't know the answer to that. I don't think the city does as we stand here right now. That will be, that may or may not become another layer of issue that you have to deal with, but the way to get there is by first applying for the building permits to build them, and then they will tell you whether or not it's too close to this rear property line or if it has to come down or not. But we're not going to answer that question here today. That the process would be to apply for the building permits, and then that will be reviewed by the building department, and they will be able to tell you if there's a possible zoning issue that has to be dealt with. So all that's before me is the fact that these went up without a building permit.
Okay.
Okay? From the city's perspective, so August 17th, what do you want to see what do you want to see done by then? What makes this compliant? Is it and the reason I ask, I'm just thinking worst case scenario. Let's say a building permit's applied for, it's determined that it can't be there and it has to be moved or come down. So August 17th is 60 days. I don't know if that's enough time to do all that and to get zoning review. So what are you looking, what do you want to see by August 17th to get it out of code enforcement?
Permit issued,
Okay.
Your Honor. But you're correct where if it's not allowed or if it requires the intervention of a architectural situation, then it may require additional time.
Right.
Because we had a previous case in which the same situation occurred.
So let me ask, from the city's perspective, is the city's preference to give more time now, or would the city's preference to be to set the compliance date in August, and then if it turns out more time is needed to get this all resolved, to come back and ask for an extension? I just want to know what your preference is in handling that type of a situation.
I think based off the respondent, he's willing to try to come into compliance. We don't mind giving more time here, so it's just a set order, and then it'll be for either the permit to get issued or the canopy to be removed.
Okay.
So 90 days should be sufficient. Yes, September 16th.
That would be September 16th. That should be plenty of time to get it buttoned up one way or the other. All right, Mr. Rico, again, didn't mean to interrupt you or cut you off. The floor is yours again if there's anything else you'd like to tell me.
Okay, so I'll submit for a permit and we'll go from there.
I think that's step one for sure, yeah. The only thing I would tell you, so I'm going to give you until September 16th, but so if, despite your best efforts and good faith forward progress, you're not going to hit that date for whatever reason, maybe we get a bunch of hurricanes between now and then, hopefully not, or whatever, stay in touch with the city, and if you need to ask for more time,
I will do so.
don't just ignore it, because you don't want the daily fines to kick in unnecessarily, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
All right, anything else from the city on this one?
Nothing further.
Okay, then I do find proper notice. Mr. Rico is present at today's hearing. Based on the testimony and the evidence, I do find the property remains in violation as cited. We'll set September 16th, 2025 as the compliance date. And I will also award the daily fines of $50 per day after that if compliance is not achieved. All right, thank you, sir.
We're gonna try to do the ones that's here, and then we'll go back down the list once we're finished. So the next case that will be called is item 3, case 6-25-11293, and that case will be presented by Michael McGee.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael McGee, Code Compliance Officer for the City of Green Acres. It's case number 6-25-11293 for the property address at 4900 North 52nd Court. The property owner is Palm Beach Christian Preparatory. This property was first cited on June 3rd, 2025, and given 13 days to comply, which would have been June 16th. Property was cited for Section 7-413, landscaping and uncontrolled growth of vegetation. Section 7-410A1, exterior property areas. Section 16-611C, placement of portable storage units. Section 7-411, grading and drainage. Section 7-420, open storage. Section 7-409, vacant structures and land. Section 7-417, accessory structures. And Section 46-611B, placement and use of portable storage units. I've submitted a package for evidence which includes the proof of ownership from the Palm Beach County Property Appraiser printout and a SunBiz printout for the business. A copy of the notice of violation / hearing notice dated June 3rd, 2025. Proof of service for the notice of violation / hearing notice. It was posted at the property, posted at City Hall, the signed certified mail receipt, the posting photos, and the notarized affidavit of posting. And additionally, there are photos of the violations at the property.
So what do we have? Do we have like one parcel that's vacant and one that's developed? I'm trying to.
It's 4 parcels owned by the, yes, all owned by the same individual. I divided them into parcels so that I could identify which problems were associated with which parcel.
Okay. Oh, I see. So we actually have
3 more.
agenda items 6, 7, and 8
Yes.
are
Yes,
are
sir.
part of this package. I got it. Okay. Does it make sense to put all of them on the record together, or do these need to be treated separately?
It's however.
Well, I don't want to do something with one that messes
I
up
believe
the
it's
other
your
3.
decision, but I could actually cite all the sections for each separate
Yeah, why don't
parcel
you
if
go ahead and
would
let's
like.
put everything into the record, and then we have the respondent, do we have?
We do.
Yes, ma'am, and then I'll have you come up and we'll kind of deal with it globally. I think that might make the most sense. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and
Yes,
complete the
Magistrate.
record by doing all 4.
This case is number 6-25-11294 for the property address at Canal 14 Road. Property owner is Palm Beach Christian Preparatory. Property was first cited June 3rd, 2025, with 13 days to comply, June 16th, 2025. This property was cited for Section 7-413, landscaping and uncontrolled growth of vegetation, Section 7-411, grading and drainage, Section 7-420, open storage, Section 7409, vacant structures and land. The next parcel is case number 6-25-11295 for the property address at 5234 Haverhill Road. Property owner is Palm Beach Christian Preparatory. Property was cited on June 3rd, 2025, with 13 days to comply, June 16th of 2025. Property was cited for Section 7-423A, exterior structure. Case number 6-25-11296 for the property address at 5200 Haverhill Road. Property owner is Palm Beach Christian Preparatory. Property was first cited on June 3rd, 2025, with 13 days to comply, June 16th, 2025. This property was cited for Section 7-417, accessory structures, Section 7-411, grading and drainage, Section 7-420, open storage, Section 7-409, vacant structures and land, and Section 7-426A, rubbish and garbage. For all these cases, I have submitted a package for evidence which includes the proof of ownership from the Palm Beach County Property Appraiser printout and the SunBiz for the business. A copy of the notice of violation / hearing notice dated June 3rd, 2025. Proof of service for the notices. They were posted at the property, posted at City Hall. I have the signed certified mail receipts for all, the posting photos, and the notarized affidavits of posting. Included are photos of the properties and the violations.
Magistrate, just to intervene real quick, for case 6-25-11293, there was a business tax code on there, section 8-461. That one was pulled because it was not applicable, so I wanted to put that on the record. That's why he didn't mention that one.
All right, so the 8-46.1
Yes.
is not being pursued under
Yes.
6-25-11293.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you. So what is that? Is that like stormwater drainage structures that are being stored?
It was intentionally, it was going to be a church school, but they were purchased for that purpose, and they're only designed to fit what that plan was going to dictate. And so now they're just being stored because I believe the property is going to be sold at some point. But yes, they are drainage.
All right, are you Ms. Sneed? You can come on up and before, while you're walking up, what's the city looking for in terms of resolution on this?
The recommendation I was given was 30 days, $100 a day, July 18th, 2025.
And I mean, this seems like it's all like minimum property standard kind of stuff when you get right down to it, so that we're not talking about permits or anything for any of these issues on any of the cases. It didn't look like to me. Okay. Ms. Nee, go ahead and put your full name and address into the record, and understanding this is for all four of these case numbers, 93, 94, 95, and 96. Yeah.
Should I give you my residential address or one of the
I'm
addresses?
sorry?
Should I give you my residential address or one of the addresses on the?
You can use the property in question, and then just tell me how you're affiliated with the
Okay.
property, and you're listed as a respondent, so.
Okay, so my name is Sophia Sneed. I
ma'am.
am the co-owner of Palm Beach Christian Preparatory School. The address is one of the addresses is Canal 14 Road in Green Acres, Florida.
Okay, so the floor is yours. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, you can just tell me about what's going on here.
So we purchased the property back on February 20th of 2020, and the reason we purchased it was to build our school, which is right now in the process of getting a BTR, although we've been in existence for 3 to 4 years now. I personally don't run the school. I just am on the back end. I have a full-time job, but I'm helping out where I can with the school. This is my husband's venture. But long story short, we invested, I think, over $600,000 to do construction on the property, only to find out with the COVID situation how everything doubled in cost. Hindsight is 2020. I wish I would have done my due diligence first before we chose to buy this property, because had I known that we could only put 100 students on the property, I would have never bought it, because the goal was for 400 students. So we were going to have 5 structures on the property, one being the school, one being the ministry, church, administration, and then, of course, athletic facility and a student hall. Long story short, we got to a point where we realized we could not. I told my husband, we have to sell this because we're going to lose it if we don't. Numbers don't lie, and so we opted to put it up for sale. Or I had proposed to build a training facility on the property to the city, because I had already spent so much money with all the construction, and there's no public water on the site. So that's why we had to, our contractor paid for all those tanks to be put on the property. And we had a bad contractor, which didn't help matters. But yeah, and so we hired a new contractor. We had to get the land reappraised, only to find out that I had to put another $1.3 million on the property to continue forward with the loan that I had gotten. So yeah, it was a mess. So, so in the meanwhile, we had a buyer, residential, but I think the city wasn't happy because it is a, what do they call it, low residential or low density residential, if you want to call it that, because it's not zoned for residential right now. It's zoned for a church and a school. Well, we were going through the process of getting it zoned for the school. So we had to pay for all that, and I had an engineering firm, and I did finally get the permits to start building, or start the construction, but then everything fell apart for us. So, so anyway, this buyer came along, and he was going along, and then out of the blue, this pickleball investors come along, and they want to buy the property, and they're offering full ask. And I thought, okay, well, yeah, I mean, if the gentleman backs out or something falls apart with the buyer, I will entertain it. So we did our research on the company, because I didn't want to get involved with a company that, was going to walk away. And I thought it'd be great for the city, but long story short, it worked out in the favor, but then the pickleball people ended up walking away from it at the end of the year. So in the meanwhile, I've left everything on the property. I've been trying to maintain it with the mowing of the lawns, and I actually did try to remove those tanks, but I was hoping that because we talked to the pickleball people, and we were figuring by the time we closed that we could deal with that, and they kept extending and extending and extending the closing on us. It really hurt us, and it hurt the city as well in a bad way. And so, and then I have a structure on the property which has been vandalized over and over and over again, because I was going to use that for an admin building. These kids have destroyed the inside of the house, spray painted. And I know the city would like me to put up a new fence, but I'm afraid to invest more money in it only for getting damages. But now I have a new buyer that just signed in February on the 6th. It's a beautiful, big organization called Onyx Construction. They did come to the city, they shared their site plan, and they had to go back to the drawing board because it was, again, a high-density type townhome, and they said no, they wanted more amenities. Long story short, they are going to be putting in all the amenities that the city has recommended, but it takes time to make all those changes. I can tell you that I want to close in August. That's my goal. It's always been my goal with them, because they're a small builder. Because we did have, I think, Pulte or Lennar come to us and I didn't want to go with a big, because I want to clean it up. I know it's not a good thing. I get it. But they assured me that they were going to move quickly, and they are. They just have to get back with them with this new site plan, which I'm hoping will be any time now. So as far as cleaning up the property and everything that I'm being asked to do, it's obviously going to cost hundreds of thousands probably to do that, and I'm asking the court to just give me some more time, at least try to sustain it the way I have been until I know more from the buyers, which I've asked my realtor on the way here again to please speak to them and find out when are they going to turn in the new site plan.
So are they in the city's development review and the site plan?
Yeah, they have.
Process?
Yeah, so what they told me was they paid both their deposits, so they put the deposits in escrow. They've gone through the due diligence and inspection periods, so therefore if they walk, then it's $150,000 that they lose. And this is their first development in Palm Beach County. They are builders all over the world. They're private, they're green, and I think it'll complement nicely because of the structure, how it's built, the design, because they're between two schools. And they had to downsize the amount of townhomes that the city wanted to see built there. So,
okay, let me get some more information from the city on where this is in terms of the development review and approval process.
So at least formally, there's the only application that's valid on the site is the pickleball application, but that's the company that's going through the restructuring that Ms. Nee talked about. But with the townhome development, they have yesterday reached out to us to set up a pre-application meeting, a formal pre-application meeting, and then that would be being scheduled at some point in the future. But at this time, there's nothing formal. And like Ms. Need said, this is something that's pretty much subject to council approval of a land use change and a rezoning and ultimately the site plan approval. So we wouldn't really want the cleanup of the property to be tied to such a
The
process.
comp plan, LDRs, and then
The site plan
plan
itself. Correct. Because as of right now, it's limited to 5 units an acre, and they wanted something that would be almost 10 units an acre. So
All right, so there's still,
Also, just to put on record, Magistrate, this has been going on for quite some time, this case, or working with the owner of this property. We do have correspondence and a little back history, if you do want to hear it, that the city can provide.
I mean, I think Ms. Sneed did a pretty good job of, I understand this is going back pre-COVID from what you said, so and that's when the cost of construction exploded and that messed you up, and then, no, I understand. I understand this is not a brand-new situation.
The pod, I want to get that pod off the property. The problem is I've got to trying to get people to help me remove what's in it. So I told my husband that we have to get it out of there, so I'm committed to doing that. I actually went there, but there are these long sheet metal things, and
Right.
I can't do it by myself.
No, I get
And I would do it if I was strong enough, but he's too frail to do it with me, so I need to hire some people. And I will take care of that. That's not a problem. I can do that. But the rest of it, I have to let the courts make that decision.
I mean, I can give you some additional time, but based on what I'm hearing from the city, I mean, in terms of this new buyer and that project, that's like in the infancy stages. I guess they've reached out and there's been contact, but there's no formal application submitted. There's a request for, what do you call it, a pre-application meeting?
a pre-application meeting, and then through that, we have identified to them, it's also the future land use change and the rezoning and the site and development plan. But then it's also with the thought, kind of going back to the previous discussion with the pickleball site, there was the engineer for that was looking at it to see if they could incorporate the structures that were already on site into their design, but they're pretty much custom to the private school that was going to be built on site, like Mr. McGee said.
Okay, so to your position, unfortunately, there's limited usefulness for those
Correct.
structures.
Unless in their discussion with Onyx, but that would be, we're not really open to that being the storage site because otherwise a property can have the storage materials on there once they have an active building permit. So if that was something where Onyx was able to use it in their development, they could take it off the site, take it off Ms. Need's hand, and then, incorporate it in their development otherwise.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, so like 120 days puts you somewhere in October, and actually the deadline date sheet doesn't have that number on it. That's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, I can give you some more time, but where you are in the process is too far in the early stages for me to say, well, it's going through the city's review process, and why don't we just let that play out?
Right.
That's going to take, I'm guessing like 6 to 8 months.
Yeah,
I
at the
don't know your
minimum.
process, but I know land use, and I know how it works generally. And if you're talking about land use change and LDR change and then site planning, that's going to take time. I can give you a little more time, but I think the city is justified in wanting to have this cleaned up a little bit more in the meantime.
And also, Magistrate, we did give time prior, without, not the context of it being going on for a while. She was given a few months, and there was correspondence back and forth saying that she was going to clean it up. It wasn't cleaned up, so it was approximately I think about 2-3 months or so that she was given, and nothing still wasn't done. So that's why we're trying to get
When
this
was
remedied.
this? Because I've been I've been doing the lawn and making sure.
March 19th, Your Honor. There's an email correspondence between DNS Director Denise Malone and SME.
Yeah, but taking all the structures off, I never agreed.
That was talking about the trailer specifically.
Yeah, that pod, yes, I agree. That's right, the pod.
No, I get it. I understand. Ms. Sneed, is there anything else that you would like to tell me before I?
No, I mean, I'm just, it's unfortunate that we're at this point, and, you know, we tried to work with the pickleball people. That's what the city wanted. I didn't have to do that. I opted to not give the gentleman an extension, and I wanted to do that for the city, so I felt like I put my best foot forward, and I think the pickleball people have been misleading, and I even helped them to get funding. They finally get their funding, and then they walk away. So, you know, that hurt me as well. So I don't think that, you know, I'm not proud of the situation. I wish I had the money to clean it up, and I would.
Yeah.
But we're in a tough spot right now. I'm trying to get the BTR done, too. I can't get that done because I can't get the health inspection done. It's just a vicious cycle I'm going through, and we're doing this for kids. You know, this is nothing that we're profiting from. It's all about helping young boys, helping young men, mentoring them, and it's just been a very costly venture. And I understand the city doesn't like the view, and I understand that, but it's whatever you decide, Judge. I respect whatever decision you make.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're
Anything else from the city on this one?
No, sir.
All right. Or on these. So this is for all four of the cases ending in 11-293, 11-294, 11-295, and 11-296. First of all, I do find proper notice. Ms. Sneed is present at today's hearing. The city has proper documents in its file. I have reviewed the evidentiary case file, including the photographs. I've heard all the testimony. I do find properties remain in violation as cited. I am going to give you, though, until October 17th of 2025 for compliance, which is probably way longer than the city wants and not nearly as much as you want. I understand the circumstances, but I think the city is also justified in wanting this property to be cleaned up. So that's what I'm going to do. Otherwise,
I have one
I will
quick
accept the
question.
city's recommendation on the daily fines of $100 per day after October 17th if compliance is not achieved. And I will sign that order. I do wish you the best of luck.
I have one quick
Yes,
question.
ma'am.
Sorry. Okay, so there's dirt mounds in there that grass has grown over because I think they all were happy, the builders were happy that the dirt was there. So am I supposed to level all that out? That's a lot of land, and right now it's five parcels.
I'd look to,
Well, it's actually 5.
you can answer the question.
The excavating and the grading is part of the.
That was cited. That was one of the things that was cited.
Yes, sir.
And I did find that to be in violation. So, I mean, you can have an offline discussion on exactly what's
Okay.
required to cure that, but that is one of the violations. All right.
Okay.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. What's left? Agenda items 3 and 4 and 9. So,
We're gonna go back up to case 4-25-11244. Special Magistrate, this case has been removed from the hearing.
Okay.
Next item, case 4-25-11245. Special Magistrate, this case has also been removed from the hearing.
Okay.
Last item, case 6-25-11299. Special Magistrate, this case has been removed from the hearing, but it has been pulled, but it will be recited for the next hearing.
Okay. I think that addresses all the items on, what was today, Church Day?
Good thing it's not a Sunday.
Just saying. Okay, is there anything else then for the good of the order before we adjourn this afternoon's hearings?
No, that is all, Special
All right,
Magistrate.
then it is 2 o'clock and we have concluded our business, so we are adjourned.